Hey everybody, before we get started, just letting you know we are still doing our 100 subscriber giveaway contest that we're running. So all you got to do to be entered in that is comment down below and be subscribed. You can comment on any video from our Monsters review forward, and you can comment as many times as you want on any video. So once we reach 100 subscribers, we'll take all the names from the comments and put them in a hat, pick one, and then we will give you all a Comixology gift card. If you are interested in that, please comment down below and subscribe. Back to the video. Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. I'm Matt, and today we're going to review MiracleMan Volume 2, The Red King Syndrome. So, before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, commenting down below, let me know if you guys have read MiracleMan, what you thought, do you know what this is? But yeah, let's get into it. This book, like I said, it's volume 2. You'd think I'd start with volume 1. I did do a little tiny review on this and volume 1 in my vlogs. I really wanted to do a full review of this because I really think this book is a book every comic book or every superhero fan, and especially if you're an Alan Moore fan, should definitely read. So I know obviously Alan Moore probably didn't give the okay to put his name and stuff in this because they just say the author is the original author. So whoever originally wrote this. So that's what Marvel says. But basically, MiracleMan is a franchise that has been in limbo, like legal limbo, for a long time. I guess Marvel got the rights to it a couple years ago after all that stuff got figured out, and they just did reprints on these. These are nice hardcover volumes. I will say there's only about 6 issues in each of these, and they are going for $34 or $35. So that's what the price on the cover is. You might be able to find it for less on like Amazon or something, or cheapgraphicnovels.com. But if you're going to your local comic book shop, they're going to charge you $35. And I mean, it is an amazing story, so I'm going to say it's actually worth it for that. But if this was anything else, it'd probably be like $35, a little steep for 6 issues. But trying to find this anywhere else, you're never going to, there's no other reprints of this. To find the original issue is going to be more expensive than $35. So they're probably just trying to milk it as much as they can while still giving you, the story that's amazing. So from there, I'll just get into the story. So the volume 1 of this was the origin of MiracleMan. Who is he? Where did he come from? And I'll just set that up a little bit. Basically, MiracleMan is basically Shazam. He's basically Captain Marvel. He says a word, Kimota, which is atomic backwards, and it turns him into MiracleMan. So we get to learn. I think the guy's name is Buddy in this. The guy, he turns from this slub who's like a reporter who's kind of fat and out of shape. He's in his 40s to this god of a human being when he says Kimota. So he that's what the first volume sets up, just like a brief, like, oh, this is this character and this is where he comes from, just in general. Now this book picks up pretty much right where the other one left off. So this one talks about the origin of him, but from the point of view of the main bad guy. So the main bad guy in this is named Dr. Gazunga or Garzunga. He is the doctor that made MiracleMan, made the Miracle family. Apparently, he was working for the government. They found an alien spaceship that showed them how to with their technology from that spaceship, he found out he could turn one thing into another thing, and it basically let him put the first thing into like a pocket dimension while the second thing was out of it. So he could essentially, when MiracleMan is not being, when Komodo hasn't been said, MiracleMan is just chilling, not aging, inside a dimension, and until like a pocket dimension, and until I think Buddy, I think it's his name, Buddy says Komoda, then Buddy goes in that dimension, the pocket dimension, and Miracle Man comes out and starts aging normally and everything. So that's why him and Buddy have different ages in this. He looks like a nice young 20s, late 20s, early 30s, and Buddy looks like he's 40, 45. But that plays into this because Buddy, the first trade ends with Buddy finding out that his girlfriend is pregnant, but it's not pregnant from him. She was pregnant from Miracle Man. So Miracle Man came home. I think she wasn't sure. She knew it wasn't Buddy, but she knew it was Buddy. It's a weird thing. He looks like Buddy, but just super muscular and everything, right? So she's like, "Oh my God, you're Miracle Man," and it must be like the same person, because like in superhero books, they make it seem like it is the same person. Like, Shazam. When he says Shazam, it's just the kid, man sized or whatever. So it's the same brain and everything. But in this, it's not the same brain. It's not the same. They have the same memories and they know what each other do to a certain extent, but they're not the same person necessarily. So when she gets pregnant from Miracle Man, she has a miracle baby now. She's gonna have a superhero baby. And Dr. Garzunga wants that baby. I guess that's what his whole plan in working for the government was in the first place, was setting up a way for him to become one of these things, and so that like his consciousness could always be inside of like this amazing body, because he's kind of like a weak, frail scientist type, evil scientist, and so he wants one of these, perfect bodies kind of thing. So what he's like, oh, he's been keeping tabs on Miracle Man. Now he knows he's awake, and now he knows Miracle Man's going to have a baby, and that baby isn't going to need to say Komodo to change. He's always going to be perfect. So he's like, that's exactly what I want. I want that baby to put my mind into, and then I will have a perfect body and a perfect mind, kind of thing. So he kidnaps the wife of Miracle Man, which and it also sets up a trap because he knows Miracle Man is going to find him. Miracle Man comes, and let's just say, I'm not going to spoil everything, but he takes back his baby. I mean, there's some definite trickery, like the doctor, of course, he's the one who made Miracle Man, so he puts like some fail safes in where there's a word that only he knows that can change Miracle Man back to the reporter. So he can't do anything to him. So there's things like that that make it super intense. And then something happens in this book that I've never seen in a book before, in a comic book before. His wife, after he saves them, gives birth in the comic. Like Miracle Man births the child himself. So like he's flying her away. She's like, "Oh, I'm having contractions." He's like, "We don't need to go to a hospital. I got this." Also, she is like infatuated with him. It is very obvious that like while she still probably loves Buddy the reporter, the fat reporter, I mean, it's like comparing, your shitty self to an Adonis godlike version of you. So of course she's like, I mean, I like Buddy, but also those fucking abs, and like you're amazing, and also you're very similar to Buddy himself, and you're like all the best parts of Buddy, kind of thing. So uh I would think anyone would kind of go with that, right? And so she is like fine with, she's all trusting in him. No uh any kind of pushback or anything. He's like, I'm gonna give birth to this child. He just, you know, births it. Like it shows 100% of the birth. I'm talking, she's on the ground, legs spread, the baby's head crowns, and you see all of that, and he pulls the baby out of her vagina, and it shows all of it. So I've never seen that in a comic or anywhere. I mean, obviously in videos or, health class or whatever, but not in a comic book. It just seems weird to see it in a comic because someone had to draw it. So that it just seems odd. But it was fucking kind of amazing to see on page. And especially like you were meant to feel the impact of it. Like obviously this has never been done before. This was not a Marvel comic when it was published originally, so they could do whatever they wanted. There was no comics code for Eclipse when they put this out. So Marvel, I'm giving it to them. They actually printed all of it in its glory, the way it was put out. So that was pretty amazing to see on the page. But yeah, like, and then it just leaves it hanging like at this level where it's like, okay, well now, Buddy is left with, does his wife still love him? He's got a child now that's not really, it's his, but it's not his, like it leaves all these interesting questions that people don't explore in superhero comics. And this is why Alan Moore is fucking awesome. This is super young Alan Moore, by the way. This is 1982. So Alan Moore is literally like tearing shit up with these great ideas for superhero stuff, tearing apart like ideas that, why, I mean, they couldn't do it obviously for like Comics Code or whatever, but like, they're just trying to make fun stories at DC or wherever, Fawcett Comics, where Captain Marvel was originally from. But this this book is like the let's explore what it would really be like to have a second personality that lives inside of you, that if you say a word, it's like a god version of you, and what would that do to your relationships, and how are you supposed to raise that god's child, like it's just all this stuff. So this was an amazing book. I mean, I did not think it was going to be that amazing. Honestly, I thought it was going to be more of the same. Alan Moore, he's young. The first book was good, but it was, was setting up this book, and this book I think was just like the really groundbreaking stuff of this run so far. So I just wanted to give a review of that. I'm going to give this 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely check these out. I know they're available digitally. I'm not sure if they're all in print still, because fucking people can't keep stuff in print anymore. So I know they might be harder to get, but you should be able to find them still, maybe at a lot of comic book shops if they ordered them, because this is a pretty popular, like, I was always knew about this comic, like not growing up, but when I worked at the comic book store, I always knew about it, and this was always talked about as like amazing. So it is amazing. It lived up to the hype, and yeah. Well, with that being said, if you guys again wouldn't mind like, sharing, and subscribing, and commenting down below, let me know what you thought of Miracle Man. Have you read it? Do you know who this is? Um, and did it blow your mind like it blew my mind? Especially that birthing scene. Just was not expecting full birth on a comic book page. So yeah. And with that being said, we'll see you on the next one.